When Rabbi Weiss first discussed establishing a modern Orthodox yeshiva many years ago, I said, how are you going to make it work, Avi? The establishment will never let it get off the ground. Which students are going to come? How are you going to get a faculty? How will the students get jobs once they go through your school? And Rabbi Weiss, bless him, listened to everything I said and did just the opposite.
I was really inspired by the Menschlichkeit that Rabbi Weiss represented and what that would represent in the institution that he would create.
The idea of a rabbinic school was something the rabbi and I would talk about back in the early 80s. So it became as no surprise to us that eventually that would come to fruition.
It's never a surprise when Rav Avi does something innovative.
He was a full-time rabbi here. He also was a full-time activist. And here was somebody already doing the work of two people who undertook this major undertaking.
He had the gumption, the vision, the strength of character to do something amazing.
I guess the big surprise is just how dramatically that happened.
The language of Chovevei speaks about not only the black fire of the black letters of the Torah, but the white fire, the fire of love and spiritual striving. That, for me, is what Chovevei Torah is about.
YCT fills this huge role in being able to present rabbis who can be Orthodox rabbis, but be rabbis to the broader community.
That level of acceptance really allows you to push forward to become whomever you are going to be.
Our goal is to light the fire. Every person's soul is waiting to be ignited.
Modern Orthodoxy isn't just a label. It's a whole philosophy of life, a worldview. And that worldview is finally starting once again to reemerge, largely through the efforts of Chovevei Torah.
You walk into the Beit Midrash on any given morning at 8:30. By 9 o'clock, the students have raised issues, challenged assumptions. There's an incredible enthusiasm to their pursuit and to their commitment. And there is this incredible passion that's so infectious.
There is an extraordinarily warm and serious feeling in the Beis Midrash. From the first time that I set foot in YCT, I just felt at home. There was such an air of excitement and creativity and freshness.
It's a type of Beis Medrash that is in the context of larger Klal Yisrael, in the context of other people, in the context of religious meaning and of intellectual openness and critical thought.
Chovevei's managed to create an environment where it's not just about the learning, it's sort of about who you become.
You see this really blossoming of budding Talmidei Chachamim. Students approach these texts with an incredible amount of reverence and awe, but there's also an intimacy that they bring to the text.
I think hashkafically it was the only place where I could really feel at home, a place which is committed to traditional Orthodox Judaism, but with an openness, with an engagement in all forms of intellectual endeavor.
It's not uncommon that when in fact you have a commitment to an orthodoxy, the natural tendency is that your ideology is closed. And we're saying no, that real profound creativity comes from a tension between a halachic commitment, which is uncompromising, with an openness, an ideological openness on a whole variety of issues.
It is almost non-existent where in a traditional yeshiva they're asking, how does this relate to my religious life? How is this meaningful to me? How is this meaningful to others?
Sitting in shiur with Rabbi Linzer, of course the word genius comes to mind. He's a genius. One of the real hallmarks of Rabbi Linzer as a teacher and a posek is the way the questions on our halacha exams are worded. He'll lay out a scenario and then say, what questions would you ask, and then how would you answer? Not simply to take things as they're presented to us, but to delve deeper into a situation. That's his sensitivity to the way the real world and the halachic reality have to come together in answering a question.
What we strive to do is to teach students how to make sensitive and responsible decisions, not only the material of halacha, but how to paskin halacha.
One of the beauties and I think the uniquenesses of our yeshiva is we do have this attunement to each individual and helping them grow to be the best professionals they can be.
We raise the importance of the professional training, and that has had a profound impact on rabbinical schools across the denominations.
What we have here is very unique, and I'm proud to say, and it's no secret, that a lot of programs have looked at us as a model to emulate. The pastoral counseling program is part of a whole yeshiva experience. It's not just a program, it's a whole philosophy of helping the students to understand themselves as fully as possible.
I like knowing that when David was at Chovevei that I didn't feel like I had to provide the sensitivity training for him. I didn't feel that he was getting the halachic piece, and that I had to kind of explain to him how women might hear the halachot that he was learning. I wasn't in that position because Chovevei provides that training.
When people ask me what I learned at Chovevei Torah, more than anything else, I learned how to be a listener, how to be present in people's lives in a compassionate way and bringing a little bit of holiness into their lives.
Any rabbi in the field will tell you that every question, whatever it is also a question that has a pastoral aspect to it as well.
The way that rabbi connects the ritual function to the person can make all the difference in their future trajectory as committed observant Jews, as participatory Jews.
A measure of success as a rabbi has so much to do with what they do for others. So very often we'll hear how our students are such mentioned. Their sense of integrity, of dealing with people in a respectful way. I think that this really typifies what a Chovevei student is and is an ongoing source of pride for me.
This year, we've started creating an educator's track, and that to me is really exciting, to be here sort of from the ground level, working up as we create this curriculum and create this track. Chovevei rabbis are natural educators, and they're a natural fit for so much of the educational infrastructure we have. Not just in day schools and Hillel, but also in camps and youth movements, and on Israel programs and service learning. And we're helping our students learn about the breadth of activities that make up the collage of Jewish education today.
What convinced me that this was a special institution was every student I met wanted to change the world.
They've made an extraordinary difference. We now have almost 30 rabbis who are serving in synagogues. There are students serving on 14 different campuses. The exec and leader of Uri Litzedek, the head of the Bronfman Fellowship, they're all Chovevei. The next chief rabbi of Finland is going to be from Chovevei Torah.
To have a bright, compassionate person leading a congregation is such a wonderful thing. It's a role that somebody has to play.
When a YCT rabbi comes to a community, the level of excitement goes up. Rabbi Nissen Antin has been the assistant rabbi at a 500-family Orthodox shul to which my family belongs, and the congregation recently decided to elevate him to the senior rabbi position. Rabbi Antin is a spectacular rabbi. He's expanded membership at Beth Shalom. He's considered one of the best Talmud teachers in the area. He has a following at his 7:30 Daf Yomi class. He's invigorated all aspects of the shul.
I was standing in the very, very synagogue that was destroyed by Katrina. Uri Topolovsky saw just devastation and destruction. And he said, this is where we're going to live. And God willing, this August, Uri, together with the community, is going to be celebrating the rededication of their new synagogue. Just imagine, one couple made the whole difference.
Rabbi Alex Kay is at our shul, so we see firsthand how wonderful a YCT Musmach is. He relates to everybody. He's very much loved.
How would you interpret the Shaila?
One of the great things about Chovevei is that each student gets a lot of face time with all of the faculty in Rebbeim.
The rabbis of Chovevei Torah have influenced me deeply. But actually some of my greatest Rebbeim at Chovevei, my greatest teachers, have been the other students.
We became a very, very close-knit group. They're my best friends. They are among my best friends in the world. It's ironic, but sometimes being a rabbi can be lonely. Because for all that you love these people and want to be with these people, you're the only one of them generally who is a rabbi. And it's very nice to be able to talk to other people who actually share the Jewish communal experience from this side of the pulpit. So it's a great source of inspiration and encouragement to be able to talk to my friends on a very regular basis.
I think the energy that's coming out of Chovevei Torah is ultimately going to make radical changes in the American Jewish community, not just the Orthodox community, but the Jewish community at large.
I think the future of Orthodoxy really lies in institutions like YCT.
Over the next 10 years, the graduates will really become the leaders of modern Orthodoxy in the country.
Openness and inclusiveness This is the future of Orthodoxy, and YCT stands for that.
This year, there is such an extraordinary group of students who are graduating again. To these chevra, I love each and every one of you, and God be with you. Stay healthy, and go out there and change the world.